What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video. Coming to you guys today with my Survivor Series 2023 predictions. Survivor Series is this Saturday, and I want to give you guys my predictions on the card. What do I think is going to happen in a lot of these matches, and ultimately where I think it might lead going forward. So I'm not going to try to make this a too long of a video, but if it does, I'm sorry. But we're going to get into the first match, Santos Escobar versus Carlito. Um, in my opinion, I feel like at least for the match, it's kind of rushed in my opinion, just because he literally just turned heel literally last week, and now he has a match with Carlito. And no disrespect to Carlito, I just don't think like he really has done much since he's returned. And I feel like the way Carlito is right now, I think he's really trying to get his footing in this and stuff like that. So when it comes down to it, I think since you just turned Santos heel, you shouldn't really have him lose. So if that's the case, my opinion, who do I think is gonna win? I think Santos wins. I think Santos wins because you just turned him heel, and it would be a bad decision on WWE's part to literally get people invested in him as a heel and then have him lose, because then people aren't gonna care anymore. So he has to win this one. So Santos, I have beating Carlito. Next match we gotta talk about is for the Intercontinental Championship. We have Gunther versus The Miz. In my personal opinion, I think WWE has done a great job building this feud and getting a lot of us fans invested in The Miz again. Because when on paper, when we looked at it, right, nobody really cared or really was gonna take The Miz serious, but they probably felt that way too, so they gave us a reason to care. So the way his character is right now, he's still the cocky Miz that we all know, but the fans are behind him, even with his cheap tactics. So it's kind of funny to see how things kind of come full circle and people are actually starting to like The Miz, because The Miz is a great wrestler. He is one of the best to do it on the microphone, in my opinion. And you have two of the best Intercontinental champions of all time. The two men that you usually will come to mind when you think of the Intercontinental Championship. Or maybe it don't. Maybe for some people it might be Chris Jericho just because he has the most reigns. That's understandable. Or Dolph Ziggler, or Kofi Kingston, whoever it is. But I think when it's all said and done, these are two of the very best that to hold that championship and made it what it is. Gunther is the longest reigning and most dominant Intercontinental champion we've had in a long time. And The Miz, he is one of the better champions we've had in the last decade. So he has both of these guys have done great work in elevating that Intercontinental Championship to heights like never before. So it's definitely going to be a true test to see who's going to come out on top here. But we all know who was going to be. I think Gunther is going to retain that title. I would love to see The Miz get that championship, become a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. But it's not going to happen. I think they're going to have Gunther hold on to that title just a little bit longer. And then probably have him drop it at the Rumble. And then he enters the Rumble and then wins and goes on for the World Championship. And I think the thing with right now, I think for The Miz, and plus he literally held the title on the Go Home show. And usually when somebody is about to compete for a championship and they hold it above their head on the Go Home episode, 9 times out of 10 you're not winning, because that's just what it is. It's just how it goes, man. It's just how it goes. So I have Gunther retaining the Intercontinental Championship. Up next for the Women's World Championship, we have Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark won a battle royal to get herself a shot at the championship and become #1 contender. And Zoe Stark has pretty much been telling Rhea, "You've been overlooking me. You've been focused on everything else instead of me." And when you kind of think about it, Zoe does have a point, because Rhea's kind of been focusing more on the Judgment Day storylines and stuff like that, being involved whatever happens with the Judgment Day, and the transformation of Drew McIntyre over the last few weeks to finally have him turn heel. So she's definitely been heavily involved more on that side of the fence than having a world championship opportunity. But when it comes down to it, she's definitely going to show up and show. I think this would be a coming out party for Zoe Stark to really see what she's about and what she can really do. So I think a lot of people are going to be, trying to tune in to see how ultimately things go for her, even though she's probably not going to win. But it's definitely be a coming out party for her. But who do I think is gonna win? I think Rhea Ripley is gonna hold down to that title. I don't see her dropping that title till Mania, in my opinion. But I can see maybe Rhea Ripley, after she wins this match, she cuts a promo, and maybe Jade Cargill comes out and makes a stare off with her, leading into a match for the Rumble, or maybe a Liv Morgan making a return, because there were rumors early in the month that she was going to get updates on her injury this month. So we don't know when this month, but this month nonetheless. So she could make a return against Rhea, and have a face off with Rhea Ripley, because she's gonna want revenge on Rhea Ripley for taking her out for the last 3 months. So that's the feud that she could probably build to the Rumble. And based off what happened this past week with Zoe Stark was in the Judgment Day locker room, who else was there? Shayna Baszler. Maybe Shayna Baszler comes out if Rhea Ripley decides to beat up on Zoe Stark after she already won the match, leading to a match between Shayna Baszler and Rhea Ripley. I think that's another match a lot of fans want to see, as myself included, because I think that would be a great match. But I do have Rhea Ripley winning nonetheless. The next match, the first of two War Games matches, we have Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Shotzi, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control's Asuka, Bayley, Women's Champion Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane pretty much returned at Crown Jewel, and it pretty much rejuvenated the whole Damage Control thing, because it seemed like they were on a bit of a decline, similar to how it happened with the Bloodline. Remember when it started becoming more of a decline, but then when Sammy joined, it really added more life back into the Bloodline storyline. And the same thing is kind of happening here with the whole Damage Control storyline. I can speak. But I do think in this, it can go either way who I feel like is going to win, because you could, knowing WWE, they will always want to give it to the biggest stars. But the thing with Damage Control, they haven't really been able to get up a lot of wins. And also, they haven't really, like, as a team, they have been a very good cohesive unit in getting wins. But as individuals, they keep getting fed to Charlotte or Bianca. So I think this is a time where you could have, Damage Control win. Because last year, they didn't. But on the opposite thing, you could have Damage Control lose, and then after you have them turn on Bayley right after the match, and then you have Bayley take some time off and then come back in time for the Rumble or in the Rumble, and then try to take out everybody that's probably in the Rumble match that is a part of Damage Control. So I think that is another route that you can go, but it really depends on which route WWE is going to go. But I'm going to just go on a limb here. I'm going to say Damage Control wins. I say Damage Control wins because they could still turn on Bayley, and have her be like in the match, have her be more like the sacrifice for them to get the win, and she really doesn't know it. Or if you want to do it, you could actually do it the week after Survivor Series. They can have like a celebration, and then they kick her out and stuff like that. So you can still do that storyline, but still give them the win, the much needed win that they do need. So I do have Damage Control winning there. I wouldn't be upset if Charlotte, Bianca, and Shotzi and Becky won, but I think it's time to kind of, give Damage Control the rub here. So I got Damage Control with the win. The next match, which I believe is going to be the main event in a War Games match, we got the World Heavyweight Champion Cody. Why I say Cody? He's not World Champion. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and the returning Randy Orton. Randy Orton was the final participant for the match. He was announced by Cody Rhodes. He didn't make his appearance, but when it comes down to Survivor Series, when his music hits, the crowd is going to go crazy. They're gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it, even though I'm gonna be on the stream, but I'm definitely gonna lose it nonetheless. But they're gonna be taking on Judgment Day of Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough, and Drew McIntyre. He pretty much said he's not in the Judgment Day. He just doesn't like Jey Uso whatsoever. He just wants to beat the crap out of Jey Uso after everything that's happened with him being cost at the Universal Championship by the Bloodline at Clash at the Castle and everything like that. So he's definitely going to win his pound of flesh for sure. But who do I think wins here? There's different ways you can go about it. I mean, Judgment Day do have the advantage, and also you have to think about Randy Orton, because I said this a while back. I think on a video I did earlier this week. Randy Orton, when he comes back, he is not going. He has different stories he could do with a lot of the people in the match on his team, because you know him and Rollins have history from going back to the Authority, so they have their history there. Him and Cody have their history going back to Legacy. Him and Sammy even have their history going back to 2017 when Sammy was pretty much aligned with Kevin Owens when they were heels at the time. So there's history there, and then there's definitely history between him and Jey Uso, because it was the Bloodline that did write Randy Orton off and took him out and put him on the injury list. And when you kind of seen that when this past Monday when Cody announced who it was gonna be, everybody on his team was good, happy, and clapping and ready and putting up poses. But if you seen Jay, he wasn't so keen on that. He was like, oh no. He says, because he felt like he knows something's gonna happen, because he knows that Randy might not be okay with Jey Uso after what happened. So that's gonna definitely be a story that they're probably gonna try to tell throughout the match. Is he truly aligned with Team Cody, knowing the history that he has with the different amount of guys on the team, especially Jey Uso, and considering that he was the one to take him out and was a part of it. So there's definitely history there. So who do I think is gonna win? I think since Drew did get the win on Monday and they do have the advantage, I think Seth Rollins, Team Cody, wins the match. And I think after the match, maybe Randy Orton does what he does best. He just turns on people. He gives people the RKO and starts feuds. So there's different routes that he can go. He can feud with Jay. He could be another feud for Cody on his road back to Roman. So I think that's another route that they could go. They could have him go up against Rollins for the World Championship. Those are just three stories that you could potentially build coming out of Survivor Series and going into Rumble season. So we will have to see. And also the rumor of CM Punk potentially being there, and I think it's a possibility. And I think it's a possibility because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches. And right now, wait, there's five. There's 5 matches. I can see them add one more match, and maybe that's Shinsuke doing an open challenge, and then CM Punk coming back, and that's his first match back. We will have to see, but I do think it's a possibility CM Punk could potentially be there. We will just have to wait and see. But those are my predictions for Survivor Series. Comment down below, let me know your predictions for Survivor Series. Who do you guys have winning these matches? Do you agree with a lot of my takes and my predictions and all that? Make sure you super kick that like button if you are new. Spear that subscribe button, and Superman punch that post notification bell. We're on the road to 700 subscribers, and it's absolutely free. There is no catch to it. I mean, if you love wrestling, this is the channel for you. I do try to do content almost every single day, so you guys don't want to miss it. I'm always trying to come up with new and fresh ideas for wrestling and stuff like that for my channel, so definitely be on the lookout for more videos in the future. But I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video.